Welcome friends. So, we have understood the larger role of portfolio, and there are various issues when you have a portfolio of some assets. In this case, we are talking of IP related portfolio. Now, when I am saying that IP portfolio management, you actually keep all your intellectual property in this portfolio, but it is not necessary that all these IP which you are keeping in your portfolio is properly registered or not registered. The second question can be, there are some kind of confusion also whether you should use this IP tool or that IP tool. So, therefore, how to decide which IP tool is more suitable for my particular IP? In some cases, it can be as difficult as whether to use GI for this particular IP or use trademark for this particular IP. In particularly in cases like tea, coffee, etc., there are always confusions whether it is a trademark or it is a GI. And similarly, in many other cases there may be some kind of debate, confusion whether it is copyright or whether it is a trademark, whether it is patent or it is design. So, these kind of issues are there. So, every time it is also not possible that we should be able to guide you in black and white that okay, this is a trademark and this is a copyright, this is a patent, this is a design. So, there may be some overlapping issues also, and here comes the role of which IP I should use, what is going to give me more benefit, and therefore, in this particular session we are going to discuss the strategies to protect innovation, strategies with respect to IP, which type of IP is more suitable for my innovations. That is what we are going to discuss in this particular session. So, as we are going to start this session, the first particular thing we are going to discuss, that is about trade secret versus patent, and many a time this confusion is there, should I go for trade secret, should I go for patent. Then we will see what are the other types of innovations, and based on that we will discuss that which IP strategy or how we are going to protect our innovations. Here the whole idea is, you have a portfolio where you have some patents, where you have some designs, where you have some trademark, where you have some know-how. Now, these know-hows are not protected knowledge. Therefore, sometime you will think that okay, can I transfer this know-how to patent, can I transfer this know-how to design, should I transfer this know-how to trademark, should I transfer this know-how to let us say trade secret, etc. And all these things are basically to improve our protection, so that we can have a better management of our portfolio. And with this idea, in this session let us first start with this example of our issues related to trade secret versus patent. So, why this issue is there? Because all commercially viable ideas cannot be patented, because patent has three conditions. We all know that there are three very important conditions of novelty, non-obviousness and industrial application. Sometime it may be difficult for you to prove either novelty or non-obviousness in your ideas, and therefore, you will like to go for trade secret kind of a route. That is the easiest way to understand that why trade secret versus patent. But there may be one more reason also, even if it is novel, even if it is non-obvious, and even if it has some industrial application, you may prefer trade secret over patent, because it will be challenging for you to minimize the infringement of your patent. If it is very easy thing to copy, if it is very easy thing to copy and that copying of your patent, unauthorized use of your patent is possible without much efforts, then it is difficult to maintain the exclusivity of that patent. And in that case also, because whenever you are doing a patent, your complete know-how is available in the public domain. So, if for example, you have a new recipe of some dish and you take a patent on this, that how to make this type of cake, and you have taken a patent on this. It is a novel dish of that cake. You have added some ingredients of your own, and a company can make cake using that particular recipe, and I am sure that it is going to have a good success. Now, I read your entire patent document which is available on the Indian Patent Office website, and now in my home I started making that cake according to that recipe. Like me, there may be thousands of people, lakhs of people who can use that recipe for making the cake. It is almost impossible for you to ensure that infringement should not take place. So, in this case, because it is easy to copy your patent, you will not like to go for the patent, you will like to go to the trade secret way. So, we again and again say the example of Coca-Cola, that is the best example we have in the trade secret, but there are similarly all these examples of important recipes are also a type of trade secret. Generally, you say that you go to a restaurant where you find some dish is very tasty. So, the chef will say that it is my trade secret, because they know that if they give that what are the ingredients and other things of that recipe of the dish, you will easily be able to make that in your home. So, trade secret is because of either it is not patentable or it is not easy to maintain the patent, both things. Now, sometime trade secret is initial way, and once you have enough data, then it can go into the patent. For example, I start working in my lab on an idea. Now, during let us say initial few weeks or few months, I do not have enough data on this idea, and when I do not have enough data, it will be difficult to go for patent. So, during this process till I get, so you can say trade secret may lead to patent, yes, because this is the time when you are collecting data and you need to ensure novelty. Otherwise, your own idea may become prior art. So, therefore, once you have enough data, you have protected the novelty also, then you can go to patent office and submit your application for grant of the patent. So, the trade secret which is in the inception stage, which is in the initial stage, may become a patent in the later stage. So, one more thing, when we are talking of trade secret versus patent, important points to remember. Trade secret offers perpetual protection. Why? Because trade secret has no legal sanctity. You are not going to any office for getting a trade secret. It is just you have to ensure in your locker in your office in some confidential place, and that confidential place may be your brain itself, that there may not be any paper available for that particular process, for that innovation. That entire innovation is only in your brain, and you are not sharing that information with anybody. And since it has no legal sanctity, it is a perpetual protection. It is no need to renew, no need to register, no need to pay any fee for maintaining the trade secret, and it is like patent where you have a limited duration 20 years and then you have to pay the annual charges also for maintaining the patent, etc. So, trade secret is free from all these issues, it is a perpetual without any payment, and there are no obligations of domestic patent versus foreign patent, etc. So, as I just explained you, now you can easily understand, this slide is kind of a homework for you, that trade secret protection offers enhanced confidentiality, because you are having the complete secrecy of your information. So, competitors or anybody, not only competitors, but nobody can see what is your intellectual property exactly. So, that is the complete information is secured. Long term competitive advantage, because it is a perpetual kind of protection. So, you can see that if you are able to have a good trade secret which gives you some kind of advantage, so you will be able to maintain that advantage for long term, and you will not have any scope that your competitor will come with a better product, because they will come with a better product only when they know what is your current product, because there is no information available about your current product. So, the delta improvement on that current product is not possible. Either they will come with a new product, that is okay, then it becomes a game of marketing, that which company is able to market their products in a better way. But because of lack of information, you are able to ensure long term competitive advantage, that is the second important benefit of the trade secret. The third is cost effective strategy, because there are no expenses, avoid the expenses, no charges of IP offices, no charges of annuity, no charges of PCT, etc. So, it is a very cost effective way, and therefore, sometime the only challenge in this case of trade secret, that you need to ensure that you are able to maintain this particular secrecy system in your organization. That is a very challenging thing. Sometime you share this information with somebody, and he may pass this information to your competitor, and it is quite possible that you may end up losing your advantage because of no legal protection available to you. This example of mug factory is very pertinent to discuss this particular issue, and the mug factory which is in Queensland, Gold Coast, and it has actually done some kind of innovations in the coffee mug market through its innovation and branding activities. Now, this founder of this company, Michael Beverley, he recognized the potential of coffee mugs. It is such a common product nowadays as popular gift items globally, particularly when adorned with licensed imagery from popular culture, movies and television shows. You must have seen that the coffee mugs which are of big size, there are different types of pictures, and I have seen that these are very expensive. You go to let us say Starbucks kind of outlets, and you want to buy these coffee mugs. These are really very expensive coffee mugs which may cost more than 1000 rupees. So, you can see that this is a good business opportunity where the issue is everywhere, it has a gifting item particularly. Now, in this case, the founder Michael, he understood that the appeal of coffee mugs, it is in the external design rather than their utility. So, the design, the pictures which you are painting, when you are writing Starbucks on that, so the value of that logo, people are printing, you must have seen their anniversary photos, the logo of their companies on that. I have seen in various academic institutions, they are printing the buildings of their organization on the coffee mugs. So, the utility point is not that important, but the external design, that is the point which generally you do not find in other tea cups, etc. It is a unique feature of these coffee mugs. So, he pioneered the living picture process, leveraging low heat transfer technology to create vibrant, cost effective mugs with striking imagery. So, all very interesting images. You can go to any gift shop, the coffee mugs are a good souvenir items, and because of their designs. And for printing that design on the coffee mug, Michael used this low heat transfer technology, and with this we are able to create customized designs on the coffee mugs. Now, let us talk of the intellectual property issue in this entire process. Recognizing the value of his innovation, the Michael documented his trade secrets of this low heat transfer technology and registered living picture as a trademark. So, this living picture, it is the trademark logo. He ensured protection through confidentiality and secrecy agreements, safeguarding his intellectual property from exploitation. So, this low heat transfer technology, he could have patented also this technology, but if he patents this technology, it was not that rocket science technology. So, there was a possibility that all the printing presses, all the these picture labs, they may start using these technologies for printing the coffee mugs with their customized designs. So, to minimize the exploitation of their IP, they rather preferred the trade secret route, and through multiple agreements with their stakeholders, with their employees, etc., confidentiality agreements, etc., they are able to protect it. The name of their company, Living Picture, that he protected using the trademark, that is one part, but the technology part where he could have used patent also, but rather using patent he used trade secret for this printing technology, which is used for printing the coffee mugs. So, we all know that how this product is so successful, and featuring iconic licensed properties such as Star Wars, Elvis garnered immediate success, and distributor partnerships with major wholesalers like Crystal Craft facilitated widespread availability across the Australia. Not only in Australia, but it is now available across the globe also. Then Mug Factory plans to expand its product ranges by incorporating Australian images into living picture process and visual appeal of its mugs, capturing consumer interest. As I said that even today we are able to print our own pictures on these coffee mugs. So, it is now becoming a very popular case everywhere, and through continuous innovation, strategic branding, effective protection of IP, the Mug Factory has established itself as a leader in the coffee mug industry, and it is continuously on the path of success and growth. So, it is the appropriate use of IP strategy. They could have gone for patent also, but now in retrospect we all can suspect that patent could not be that successful way of IP protection as trade secret in this particular case. Therefore, it is important now to understand that our innovation and IP strategy should have proper match. Then only you will be able to exploit IP for, or exploit innovation rather, for your advantage, and you should be using all the tools of IP system for the benefit of or for exploitation or for creation value from the innovations. So, here we will see that how we are going to classify innovations on the basis of technological and market issues. When we are talking of technology, it can be either existing technology or new technology. For example, just to give you one idea, the IC engine is an example of existing technology and electric vehicle is the new technology if I talk in terms of transportation sector. Market, the existing market, for example, existing market in some case can be if I am in USA, and new market can be Africa. Now, in this case you see that we have these 4 quadrants. The one is you are creating new technologies in the existing market. You are creating new technologies in the existing market. So, you are doing disruptions in your existing market. This is one type of innovation. Technology is also new and market is also new. There was nothing in that particular market with respect to this type of technology. So, market and technology both are new. This is radical innovation. No market was using this technology. So, market and technology both are new. Technology is existing and market is also existing. Technology is also existing, there is nothing happening. So, in this case whatever innovations are happening, these are possibly incremental innovation, which we are not able to see from outside. And then the fourth is architectural innovations, where technology is existing and market is new. That is just identifying new customer segments for my existing technology, the new customer segments. For example, if you think of there is a market at this moment where mobile phones have not reached. So, that is the architectural innovation. Like in India, we got mobile phones in 1996, but before that mobile phones were very popular already in Europe and America. So, at that time this was an architectural innovation for mobile phones coming to India. So, that is how you can have 4 broad categories of innovation. And then we see that how with respect to these categories you are going to have different types of IP strategies. So, market and technology, that we have already addressed. Now, on the basis of this, one is incremental innovation. Incremental innovation where both technology and market are existing. Now, existing product or service by utilizing the current technology targeting the existing market. For example, as I always say, in automobile industry, the some incremental improvements in our IC engine were happening, like you are having better shockers whenever a new car is coming. You had better you can say safety systems continuously. You had Euro 1, Euro 2, BS1, BS2, BS3, BS4 stages, so that they are more environmental friendly vehicles, continuously improving the emission issues with respect to that. All these are actually examples of incremental innovations. So, incremental innovations are very common in some existing market, existing technology, because even in that you have to continuously improve the performance. So, it is one type of innovations. Here you will not see a direct impact, you will not see a big impact, but organizations keep doing incremental innovation regularly. These are examples of incremental innovation, like in the case of automobiles. Similarly, now you see new types of mobile phones which are having better camera, better processors, more memory, lightweight, longer batteries. All these are the examples of incremental innovation. Now, second is disruptive innovation. So, if you see disruptive innovation, now for the same market you are coming with a new technology. So, in this case of new way of doing things that challenges and could replace the old method. This happens when a new product or service uses new technology to enter the existing market. Like iPad is an example of disruptive innovation, because when Apple released it in year 2010, many people switched from bulky laptops to the sleek tablets, and Apple got a good share of the market because they were the first to introduce this type of product into the market. And there are various other examples that those people who are using digital cameras. So, they shifted from let us say photography reel based system to the digital cameras, and from digital cameras they are coming to the smartphones. So, the new technologies are coming for the same people, those who were the professional camera persons or even the amateur also, from reel based to digital and digital to smartphones. So, many such examples you will see around you, that where we are in the same market, but continuously giving you new technological solutions. Then the architectural innovation, when the technology is same, but you are entering into the new markets, etc. So, for example, like I gave you that in India the mobile phones came in 1996, when mobile phones were already available in Europe and America. So, that is an example of architectural innovation. And radical innovation, where both things, market is also new, new customers and new technology altogether. So, a new product coming for a new group of customer which was not there at all. So, it creates a new type of market. For example, I will say the use of OTT, that is a new type of technology, and it creates a new market, maybe with Netflix and those kind of organizations. This is a good example that how radical innovations are also happening, and radical innovations, if they become successful, there will be a lot of you see continuously, if I see this diagram of classification, if radical innovation becomes successful, so radical innovation will try to go into this path or this path. So, they will go for, after some time, the radical technologies will become the existing technologies, and radical technologies will become the part of some of the new markets, they will become the existing markets. So, more and more radical technologies will become part of disruptive or architectural technologies if they are successful. So, and sometime those technologies which are not successful, those examples which are not successful will not be discussed in our classroom discussions. So, depending upon what type of innovation you have, you need to align your IP strategy with the type of innovation, as we just discussed in the case of mug factory example, where we saw that it is a new technology. It was a, I feel, example of radical, because it created a new segment of coffee mug, and technology is low heat transfer technology, but they did not use patent, but used trade secret for their protection purpose. So, it is important that you need to understand what type of characteristic your IP has, and accordingly using appropriate strategy of protection is very important, and the alignment of your IP strategy with the organization's strategy is also need to be taken into account. With this, we come to end of this particular session, where we understood the role of IP strategy in our IP portfolio strengthening. Thank you very much.